Welcome back. This is the story of why I ended up needing to leave Colombia in such a rush the first time around. So I had married somebody. Can't really get into the reasoning behind that because I've got to check out statute of limitations stuff. But anyway, I was married to this man from Bogota. And when we got married, one of my big plans was that I wanted to finally start my sweets bakery in Medellin. And I had found this perfect place. It was right in Poblado, which is like the touristy, like really big area. Like if you want to sell a lot of something, you want to do it in Poblado. And there's a ton of foot traffic, especially on this one street. It's kind of like the main street in Poblado, and it's Calle 10. So right on that part between the metro and like the main big part of Poblado, there was this perfect little spot. It was the perfect size, and it was up for rent. And I talked to the landlord, and because I was a foreigner setting up a business there, as a show of good faith, I was going to pay for an entire year of rent all up front. And because of one of my family members passing, unfortunately, I was able to do that. So we had everything set up. You know, the lease was going to start in just a couple of weeks. And my husband, business partner at the time, sent me over the information for the account to make the transfer. And just to make sure, because I didn't want, one letter, one number to be off or anything, I texted the landlord. And I was like, hey, just wanted to make sure that this is the right account, that this is the right, name and everything. There's no typos before I go ahead and transfer it, because it was like $10,000. Like, it was not a small sum of money, because it was a really nice area. So I text him. He texts me back saying, none of that is correct. Like, this is a completely different account, completely different name, completely different everything. So I, realized, okay, so my husband and business partner is trying to scam me. He's trying to take all of the money for rent for this place and take it all for himself. So even though it wasn't his account, it was clearly one of his friends' accounts or something like that, and they were going to split it. I don't know the details. But obviously there's a big issue, and I had to, discreetly get divorced from him without it being a big deal where like I had to end up like paying a lot of money out to him or something like that. So I pretended like I thought the landlord was trying to scam me in like this way, that way, or the other way by using like a different account or just trying to trip me up. So I was like, okay, well, since this isn't going to work out with this landlord, I've got to go back to the United States to get a new passport. So, I'm going to need to end our marriage real quick just to make sure that if I'm not able to come back, it's just easier if we get divorced now. And he was like, okay, sounds good. And because of that, I was losing my visa. So all of this stuff that was attached to it, I had to leave very quickly. I had very little time to prepare. And that is the story about how my ex-husband, who I was only married to for 6 weeks, tried to steal $10,000 from me, which was so dumb because even though, let's just say we didn't have a traditional marriage, but regardless of whether or not you would call him my real husband or not, I was supporting him completely. I treated him like family. Like, his family had some debts. I paid them off. I was getting groceries for his family, for his brother, for his mother. I was completely taking care of him as if we had a completely normal marriage where I was the breadwinner and I was trying to help him start his own business as well. He wanted to sell those stupid little fucking shirts that he would make. But regardless, he gave up that gravy train where if he had helped me create this business, he could have rode that for the rest of his life. But instead he tried to grab a big sum and just run with it, and now he's left with absolutely nothing. And I realized a couple weeks after all of that happened that there was a charge on my card for $300 something, and I realized it was like a website building place, which is so dumb because places like Wix and Squarespace and everything like that, you don't need to pay somebody $360 just to get a website up and running. Even if, what an idiot. You don't need to spend that much money to do something like that. You don't need to pay somebody to make a website for you. But I contacted the website, and they were like, well, even though it was your card that was used, your name and information doesn't match what we have on file, so we can't do anything with the web. We can't offer a refund, we can't do anything because you don't seem to be the person that created the account with our website. So I was like, okay, is the name and information redacted, living at Redacted Avenue in Savaneta? And they were like, oh, yes, all of that information is correct. What would you like to do with the account? And I was like, cancel it, take down the page, give me back my money. And then there's this whole thing with him. He never tried to steal anything from me again. We ended up actually hashing everything out, smoking a joint over it. I'm not somebody that likes to hold grudges. But yeah, that is the story of my ex-husband. Fuck you, Han.